Hey there, good afternoon. I'm meteorologist Julia Kwedi. And of course, as you haven't noticed outside, things have been pretty consistent in terms of our forecast. Continue to have those above average temperatures making it to the lower 80s, still dealing with those southeasterly winds, just feeding all this moisture and humidity that continues to remain in place for now. But we are expecting a change in the forecast coming soon, but not really this week just quite yet. Right now, they're taking a look at our CCC Sky Cam over Stupi's Pier. We can see, got that sunshine out there as well as those blue skies. Have a couple passing on clouds, of course, beyond the JFK Causeway, but again, that sunshine is going to be an ample supply for us throughout the remainder of our afternoon. So much so, this of course going to contribute to the warm up in our temperatures, going up closer into the upper 80s for some of our inland neighborhoods. A little bit closer to the coast though, here at Corpus Christi sitting at 81 degrees, 80 over in Ingleside, 71 degrees over in Port Aransas, 88 degrees over in Kingsville, and 86 right now over in Alice. So that kind of fall springtime heat that we're dealing with this week is continuing in our forecast just because we have all that moisture that's continuing to increase here in the coastal bend thanks to those southeasterly winds. So all of our dew point values across the area are going to be into the upper 60s or even flirting a little bit into the lower 70s in areas like Kingsville. So of course, with those higher dew point values, it's also going to contribute to slightly warmer temperatures that we're seeing in areas like Kingsville, currently sitting around 88 degrees at this moment. Now our winds, of course, that's a contributor to that moisture and humidity being pushed its way into the coastal bend. And of course, we've been dealing with a pretty hefty breeze throughout most of this week so far. That continues as we're seeing our winds clocking around 25 miles an hour here in Corpus Christi, 21 over in the Bluff, and 18 miles an hour winds happening in Kingsville. Now, the wind speed isn't really the issue here. It's, of course, the wind direction that's giving us all this moisture and humidity, leading towards us to have these above average temperatures that will be sticking around the forecast for at least an extended period of time. Now, we are looking at our muggy meter. That's, of course, noting all that moisture and humidity, of course, depicting that as it relates to our dew point values. So even ahead towards this weekend to the early part of next week, we'll still be looking at a lot of humidity pushing into the area because we are going to be expecting a cold front that's going to kind of die out before it reaches us here in the coastal bend. And before it does, it's going to, of course, become a warm front. So it's going to increase that moisture and humidity as we look ahead towards the early part of next week. But then we will have a break coming that's going to be in the form of an actual cold front that's going to reach its way to the coastal bend through South Texas, giving us cooler temperatures ahead into the midweek of next week. But ahead for tonight, we're still looking at pretty much the same type of conditions here, consistently with those temperatures well above average into the upper 60s. So our forecast is going to be pretty consistent for the next few days as they have been since the beginning of this week. Just continue to see those temperatures above average as well as all that moisture and humidity at play. And of course, that also leads towards why we're still dealing with that sea fog that begins to build during the overnight hours into the early morning commute. So about 10 o'clock tonight, we'll start to see that visibility begin to decrease for our coastal neighborhoods and communities. And then, of course, during your time, we'll be heading out the door, starting your morning commute, still struggling a little bit with that patchy, dense fog throughout parts of our northern and coastal neighborhoods for you tomorrow morning. So just make sure you continue to drive safely, giving yourself that extra time to make sure that you can get to your destination safely for tomorrow on your Thursday. But looking at our 7-day forecast, warm and muggy conditions are going to be set to last throughout the majority of this week, heading towards your weekend. And then we'll have that cold front finally start to make its way into the area and completely push it through South Texas, giving us, of course, cooler temperatures a little bit closer to seasonal averages next week.